Hey movie fans! Welcome back to another epic movie recap. Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive blockbusters of the 90s, Armageddon. What would you do if an asteroid the size of Texas was on a collision course with Earth? In this heart-pounding adventure, a team of unlikely heroes, a group of roughneck oil drillers, is humanity's last hope. Their mission? To blast off into space, drill into a massive asteroid, and detonate a nuclear bomb before it wipes out all life on Earth. With the clock ticking and everything at stake, will they pull off the impossible? Armageddon delivers non-stop action, emotional sacrifices, and intense disaster drama. It's a wild ride packed with thrills, touching moments, and a story of courage, love, and redemption. If you're a fan of high-stakes space adventures, you're in for a treat. Before we jump into the action, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another exciting movie recap. Now, sit tight and let's blast off into this thrilling adventure. In space, an astronaut is outside a satellite performing routine repairs. Just as he's about to finish, he and the satellite are suddenly struck by fast-moving debris. The astronaut is thrown into space, while the satellite takes heavy damage and ultimately explodes. Soon after, the shuttle is hit as well, leading to a massive explosion that kills the entire crew on board. Back at NASA, chaos erupts as the team scrambles to understand what happened. They begin reviewing footage and scans, discovering multiple objects heading towards the Atlantic seaboard. Urgently, they notify the president and start formulating a plan. Meanwhile, at an observatory, an astronomer witnesses an explosion in space through his telescope. The next morning, New Yorkers hear about the shuttle disaster on the news when suddenly, the screens glitch and fireballs start raining from the sky. Panic ensues as people flee, but the destruction is relentless. Buildings collapse, cars are obliterated, and countless lives are lost. Within moments, New York becomes a burning wasteland. NASA confirms it's a meteor shower, but they still don't have an explanation for it. The astronomer contacts NASA and shares his observations, prompting them to redirect the Hubble telescope for further analysis. It's revealed that the earlier meteorites were dislodged by a massive asteroid, which is on a collision course with Earth in 18 days. If they don't stop it, the impact will wipe out all life on the planet. At the same time, a Greenpeace ship protests near an offshore oil rig owned by Harry Stamper. While playing golf, Harry casually hits a golf ball at the activists. Just then, his employee chick informs him that one of the drills is malfunctioning. Furious, Harry storms into the quarters of his worker AJ, ready to confront him. AJ quickly apologizes, but Harry becomes suspicious. Noticing women's clothes scattered around, he pulls back the bed covers and finds his daughter, Grace. Panicked, AJ bolts out of the room, with Harry in hot pursuit, shooting at him as they race through the rig. In the chaos, a stray bullet ricochets off a lamp, injuring AJ's leg. The chase only ends when clients arrive. Grace warns Harry that if he continues trying to control her life, she'll leave him for good. At NASA, scientists and military officials gather to brainstorm solutions, but none seem viable. Finally, a scientist suggests a bold plan. Instead of just firing rockets at the asteroid, they must drill into it and plant a nuclear warhead inside to blow it up from within. To pull this off, they need the best drillers in the world. Back on the oil platform, Harry's team is dealing with a gas pocket, which causes oil to shoot up and cover them. Grace quickly ushers the clients to safety while the crew scrambles to descend from the rig. As oil starts bursting out uncontrollably, Harry directs everyone to take cover just before the oil ignites. Fortunately, they manage to extinguish the fire. The accident, caused by AJ's negligence, leads to Harry firing him on the spot. At that moment, the U.S. military arrives to recruit Harry for the mission. He agrees, but only if Grace is allowed to come with him. At NASA, Harry is briefed on the classified details of the asteroid and the potential end of the world. He's also shown a special drill that was developed for a Mars mission. NASA wants Harry to train their astronauts to use it, but Harry recognizes it as a flawed version of his own design. He tells them he can't teach astronauts how to drill properly in just a few days, so he volunteers to go on the mission with his own team. Afterward, Harry selects the members of his crew, and the FBI is dispatched to round them up. They find Bear riding his motorcycle, Max getting a tattoo, Hound hitting on women at a bar, Oscar riding his horse on a ranch, and Chick gambling in a casino. Despite his earlier dismissal, Harry reluctantly recruits AJ as well, since he's the only one who knows how to operate a specific tool crucial to the mission. The team is shocked by the enormity of the task ahead, but agrees to the mission, knowing the alternative is certain death. In return, they negotiate a few personal favors, like paid vacations and having their parking tickets cleared. Next, the team is subjected to a series of physical and psychological tests to evaluate their fitness for space travel. Their wild behavior drives the doctors to frustration, but despite none of them being fit for space, NASA has no choice but to send them. They are then introduced to the two shuttles that will take them into space, named Freedom and Independence. They also meet the astronauts who will accompany them, led by Colonel Willis Sharp. Over the following days, the team undergoes intense training, including physical exercise, underwater simulations to mimic weightlessness, and flying high-speed jets. The experience leaves them dizzy and nauseous. They also train with special suits equipped with thrusters to practice maneuvering in low gravity. At the same time, engineers work tirelessly to perfect the drilling equipment. Finally, the mission plan is revealed. The shuttles will first stop at the Russian space station to refuel before heading to the moon. Using lunar gravity and firing their thrusters, they will slingshot around the moon and position themselves behind the asteroid to start drilling. The hope is that the moon's gravity will also clear the asteroid's debris, and the shuttles will land at two separate soft spots to increase their chances of success. The team must detonate the nuclear warhead before the asteroid reaches the zero barrier, the point of no return. One evening, Harry notices AJ and Grace together, but refrains from intervening this time. AJ proposes to Grace, giving her a ring, and the rest of the team reminds Harry that Grace is an adult who can make her own choices. Later, during an underwater simulation, the team practices drilling while the scientists test their ability to handle problems by introducing a gas pocket. Harry and Bear warn AJ that he's taking too many risks, but AJ ignores them, leading to a failed drill. Had this been real, they'd all be dead. While the simulation is reset, Harry angrily reminds AJ what's at stake. The day before launch, Harry persuades NASA to let the team spend some time with their families. AJ and Grace enjoy a romantic picnic while Chick visits his ex-wife and son, who doesn't know his father. Bound by a court order, Chick can't get too close, so he leaves a toy shuttle as a gift and apologizes for his past mistakes. Hound and Max, on the other hand, spend their free time at a strip club, where they get into a fight with a gang and end up getting arrested. Meanwhile, in the South Pacific, a meteorite crashes into a river, wiping out an entire town and causing massive explosions that claim thousands of lives. The news spreads, and soon the world is aware of the incoming asteroid. Reporters flood the area outside NASA headquarters as the countdown to launch draws near. On the day of the launch, Harry and Grace share an emotional farewell. Grace tells him about her engagement to AJ, and Harry promises he'll return. The president delivers a televised speech, wishing the team luck on their mission. The astronauts suit up, and AJ sings a heartfelt goodbye to Grace, prompting the rest of the team to join in. As they board the shuttles, cameras capture the moment, and Chick's ex-wife finally tells their son that his father is one of the astronauts. The countdown reaches 0, and both shuttles successfully launch into space. Once stabilized, the team removes their helmets and marvels at the vastness of space. They soon reach the Russian space station, where cosmonaut Lev Andropov contacts them to coordinate the docking. The NASA pilots skillfully dock the shuttles, and the teams rush to transfer fuel. While others work on connecting the fuel lines, Lev takes AJ into the fuel pod to show him how to operate the control panel. Unbeknownst to them, a leak has developed, and AJ notices some strange readings on the panel. He tries to warn the others, but they don't hear him. When he attempts to shut it down, the lever breaks. The alarm sounds, and Lev finally detects the leak. He orders everyone to evacuate to the shuttles while he and Colonel Willie return to help AJ. Suddenly, the fuel pod catches fire, and AJ barely avoids being engulfed by flames as he rushes up the stairs. The entire station starts to shake, sparks fly, and steam pours out. NASA instructs the team to abandon any efforts to extinguish the fire and leave immediately. The astronauts return and pull Colonel Willie away as the flames continue to grow, sealing the hatch behind them to contain the fire. Lev helps AJ out of the pod, but they find the door jammed. Harry notices AJ is missing and wants to rescue him, but the others stop him, believing it's too late. Lev opens a hatch into the cooling unit and warns AJ to hold his breath to prevent the cold from freezing his lungs. They crawl through a tight space and drop down on the other side of the door just before it explodes. Meanwhile, the shuttles are preparing to leave as a part of the station collapses, destroying several sections. If the shuttle doesn't move soon, it will be crushed too. AJ and Lev run as fast as they can and make it back to the shuttle just in time. Both shuttles take off, narrowly avoiding the massive explosion that obliterates the Russian space station. With limited fuel left, they continue their journey towards the moon and successfully execute the slingshot maneuver, accelerating to over 15,000 miles per hour. The crew suffers from the immense gravitational forces, screaming in pain as they power through the intense pressure. Eventually, the shuttles stabilize and the asteroid looms ahead. As they get closer, the shuttles begin shaking, dodging debris from the asteroid's tail. Unfortunately, the Independence shuttle takes a hit and loses its thrusters. There's nothing NASA can do except listen helplessly as the crew pleads for assistance. The Independence begins to spiral out of control, taking multiple hits from debris. With their situation worsening, the team dons their helmets for life support as the windows crack and rocks begin slamming into the shuttle. The impact is so severe that it sends the pilots flying into space, their bodies colliding with the Freedom. AJ and Lev rush to hide in the cargo bay, but Oscar and the astronauts don't make it as the shuttle disintegrates. The Independence crashes on the asteroid, and NASA assumes the entire crew is lost. The Freedom lands next, but the shuttle slides miles off course and comes to a stop in a difficult, impenetrable area. Back on Earth, NASA loses communication with both shuttles, leaving Grace devastated over AJ's presumed death. However, AJ and Lev emerge from the cargo bay alive and check on the other bodies. AJ mourns Oscar's death, only to be interrupted by Bear, who has miraculously survived. The trio grabs their drill and creates several holes to blow open an escape route. Back with the Freedom crew, they take out their drill and begin working on the surface. The asteroid's toughness breaks the drill head after just 10 feet, forcing them to stop. The astronauts manage to regain a weak communication signal with NASA and the drilling resumes, with a new drill head. However, excessive force causes an explosion, injuring Harry with the shockwave. They realize they've hit an unknown metal deep within the asteroid. NASA informs them that they'll have only one more chance to communicate with the team in 7 minutes. After that, they may lose the ability to detonate the nuke at all. At that moment, Willie contacts NASA, explaining that the drilling will take longer than anticipated. When Harry tries to interrupt, Willie shows him a card indicating the conversation is classified. Harry ignores him and attempts to communicate with NASA, but Willie begins arguing and kicks him out, claiming that bringing drillers was the biggest mistake. NASA once again loses contact with the shuttle. With only 5 hours left, the president orders the remote detonation of the nuke in 5 minutes. Despite the scientists' protests that detonating the bomb now would be ineffective, the military takes control, ignoring their concerns. Grace, desperate, is forcibly removed from the room. On the shuttle, Willie opens a safe, revealing a gun, and announces a secondary protocol. Harry and the crew notice the nuke's timer has started ticking down. Willie enters and demands they evacuate, but Hound and Max are still outside, and Harry refuses to leave without them. He confronts Willie, arguing that an early explosion won't stop the asteroid. When Harry grabs a tool to disable the timer, Willie pulls his gun on him to stop him. At the same time, the NASA scientists secretly hack into the system, disconnecting Earth's link to the nuke. Distracted by the timer, Willie gives Harry an opening to knock him out. Chick subdues the other astronaut and retrieves the gun. As the Army notices the broken connection, Hound and Max return to the shuttle, and Harry confronts Willie. Harry points out that giving up now would be pointless if they're going to die anyway, so Willie agrees to let them drill one last time. With only seconds left, Willie and the other astronaut cut a few wires, successfully shutting down the nuke's timer. The team contacts NASA, and the scientists celebrate as they prepare to continue their mission. Meanwhile, the Independence crew gets stuck in front of a massive chasm. Frustrated, AJ throws a rock and realizes, thanks to the reduced gravity, they can jump the gap. The crew revs up the drill vehicle and makes the jump successfully, though they lose control and crash into some rocks. Lev steps out and fixes the frozen thrusters, but as he finishes, a flurry of rocks flies toward them, forcing him to hold on for dear life. After some struggles, AJ turns on the thrusters, regains control, and they finally land safely. Back on the Freedom, the crew repairs their drill, but Hound, possibly affected by space dementia, accidentally activates a machine gun. Chaos ensues as flames erupt, damaging equipment. Suddenly, the asteroid cracks, triggering an earthquake. Max tries to shut down the drill but hits a gas pocket, causing an explosion. The drill vehicle is launched into space with Max still inside. As NASA loses hope, alarms blare worldwide, and people begin evacuating or spending their final moments with loved ones. A meteorite obliterates Paris and riots break out globally. The Pope makes a public speech as desperation takes hold. Amid this chaos, AJ's team finally arrives with the other drill. They tie a pound and continue the mission with only an hour left. Another gas pocket erupts in flames, but AJ insists on pushing forward. Harry hesitates but ultimately trusts AJ, and together they manage to drill down to the crucial 800 feet. Carefully, they lower the nuke, but as the asteroid cracks further, debris rains down on the crew, triggering explosions and killing one of the astronauts. Amid the chaos, the remote detonator is found to be damaged, meaning someone must stay behind to trigger the bomb manually. The team draws straws and AJ pulls the shortest. However, Harry tricks him, disabling his oxygen supply and forcing him into the elevator. In an emotional moment, Harry admits he sees AJ as a son and gives his blessing for him to marry Grace. As AJ ascends, Harry prepares to sacrifice himself, calling NASA to share a final farewell with Grace. They exchange words of love, crying as they say their goodbyes. Back on the shuttle, Lev fixes a launch issue by hitting the system with a wrench, and just in time, the shuttle takes off. As Harry fights another earthquake, he loses the detonator. With only a minute left before the asteroid crosses Earth's threshold, Harry crawls back to the detonator, presses the button, and the nuke goes off. The asteroid explodes in a massive burst, sending the shuttle shaking wildly, but all the debris misses Earth by just 400 miles. Everyone celebrates as they watch the explosion's bright light in the sky. The shuttle successfully lands, and Grace runs to reunite with AJ. Chick also gets a heartfelt reunion with his ex-wife and son. The story concludes with a touching wedding ceremony where photos of the fallen team members honor their sacrifice, a reminder of the price paid to save humanity. Armageddon is a perfect blend of heart-pounding action, deep emotions, and sky-high stakes. From Bruce Willis's stoic leadership to Ben Affleck's reckless charm, the characters' chemistry breathes life into this massive space adventure. While the visual effects are jaw-dropping, it's the emotional sacrifices, especially in those unforgettable final moments, that truly make this film stand out. Sure, it's packed with blockbuster spectacle, but it's the human drama at its core that keeps you hooked until the very last second. This is a must-watch for disaster movie lovers and adrenaline junkies alike. What did you think of Armageddon? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. And don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more thrilling movie recaps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.